Hey all, welcome back to the next video in Frodo's series. In this video, we're going to be working through some really interesting stuff. And so, starting out, I was just working on picking up his feet, and Megan was kind enough to come over and film a little video for me, which was super helpful. It always makes it easier when I don't have to do as much editing because they're just
his eye
filmed
seems a little worried, but he's being good.
by hand. And so I was just doing the same process I do with every Mustang when I pick up their front feet. I have the rope around his leg just to help him get used to the feeling of something wrapping around his pastern and applying a little bit of pressure. So then he understands what that pressure means, so by the time I go to pick up his leg with my hand, he already gets it. It makes it really easy for the horse to understand. So I was just doing things in small steps and giving him a big release when he gave me a try like that. And he was being really good. He was trying quite hard. And so we didn't work on this for too long just to make sure I could give him a good experience. I was, like I mentioned previously, having a little bit of a difficulty squeezing sessions in between the weather not cooperating with me and Frodo getting worked up whenever he'd see people riding horses or things going on around the farm. That was our nemesis in the very beginning. You know, it's not super productive to try to train anything while he's in that state where he's really worried. And so you'll see in this video how we start to work through that and the steps I take to help Frodo feel safer in his environment so that he could feel comfortable and ready for training.
Starting on the right, he's a weird one. There's a little funny on the left. It also helps that you're short, so you also make him look massive in the video.
Oh my god, I love doing that. Everyone thought Talos was like 15-2.
Like, you literally make him look like he's like 16'3". Oh, what a good boy.
Good job. Okay. Very smart. I'm like waiting until I do his hind feet to decide how long I want to cut this rope. Because the main reason I made another is because mine is like touch too short to do hind feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's good on the ones I know are going to be really good. But it puts me a little closer to them than I'd like. Good. Okay. So now I'm working on being able to pick up his leg the same way I will if I want to be able to pick out his feet or trim him or anything like that. So if I can get him to pick up and hold up that foot while I'm standing at his shoulder, then that'll prepare him even better for when I go to pick up his foot with my hand.
I think more got all over my body than on him, honestly.
He's never gonna trust us to fly mask him again. And while this was very close to what I wanted, he did turn away and move backward, but I gave him a little break after that because it was a really good effort. So I decided to switch feet, and here you can actually see where I get the rope on his leg and how I go through that process.
He's like, if you could stay in my right eye, that would be super.
So I first have them take a few steps without really having any pressure on the rope, just so they get used to feeling it on their leg, especially while they're moving, as sometimes that can be a little bit of a weird feeling for them, but Frodo was doing well adjusting to that. So then I'll start to apply a little bit of pressure and get him to step forward with that front leg.
No. It's still pretty good.
He was doing really good. He was quite soft off that pressure.
Hold me. Is this your first time on the left foot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's like really like chill. Like I put the flag up and down and like wrap the like stick and string around. Like he's very chill about the front feet. I think we might have a little difficulty tonight.
Have we decided that the stick is our friend?
Yeah, he's like not bad about it now. I think he just had a little bit of a mental block. It was probably just from the like 2 times I moved too fast and scared him, and then he's like, oh my god, stick, eat me.
Oh, do we like scritches?
His timer goes off and he's like, oh my god, I gotta move. Gotta go. Yeah, even like third eyelid
Oh, do we need a fly mask?
I'm just scratching toes. I will put a fly mask on you as soon as I don't think you'll like panic. Maybe quick?
This was very, very close to what I wanted. Even though he took a step backward, he didn't spin to the side. And I was kind of having to remind him that I didn't need his head to be in my personal bubble.
And I'm like, you're okay, buddy. You don't have to be worried about it.
He's so cute. I was actually surprised nobody was too concerned about the giant pile of telephone poles.
Yeah. Good boy.
Is that the timer? Some of the stuff has been super loud.
I think it was the semi-air brake.
Even though he spooked away, his spook didn't have anything to do with what I was doing, and he'd already accomplished everything that I needed him to in that session. So he was very good, and I ended it there.
Like that camera's really good because it fell on the ground and it fell in front of a poop pile, and I was watching it back and you could see every single grain in that poop pile. It was insane, and like every single grain of sand that was stuck to the poop.
Did you accidentally make a fly documentary?
Maybe.
He's like, I actually can't work with her up there.
I had her climb on the panel to see if we could start getting him used to having people up above him, because that's one of his fears, and you can see he was very worried about it. Now, he was trying really hard. He was minding my space, and he was trying to focus, but he was having a very hard time with that. But we were at the end of the session anyway, so we just called it a day there. So the next morning, he was very agitated once again. I don't remember what was going on, if it was just people riding or things happening on the other farm over, but he was definitely very worked up. So I was trying to use a little bit of positive reinforcement to help him feel more comfortable, regain his focus, and reward him for, any paying attention to what was going on inside the round pen. But you can see he was just so worked up that nothing I was doing was really getting through to him. And so this has been a little bit of a unique issue. I've had a lot of young horses, especially with troubles paying attention, troubles focusing, getting worried about external things, but this is a little bit different to me, Frodo's particular fear. And so this is one of the things, like I mentioned in the previous video, this is one of the methods I tried to help him feel better, and that was ultimately my goal. I want him to feel safe in his environment, and this is one of the things I was trying. So I was playing around with a bit of target training, and while he didn't really touch the target on purpose there, I gave him a reward anyway because his nose went really close to the target or maybe brushed it by accident, and he was actually taking food out of the feed pan a little bit, but for the most part, he was just too afraid to even think about eating because he was so worked up and he was so unsettled. And so I decided that was the day that I had to help him, basically show him that people riding horses is not anything that's going to hurt him. And so I took Vero over and I rode around the round pen a little bit, minding his boundaries, making sure I wasn't getting too close and scaring him too much. And then I ended up actually taking Vero in the round pen to meet Frodo and slowly worked up to getting on and off Vero in the round pen. I felt like it was finally time Frodo was ready. He could start to tackle this fear, and I could do it in a slow, methodical way where I was showing him it was nothing to be afraid of. And this ended up being really beneficial for Frodo. Most of y'all will know Vero from my other videos. He's my 5-year-old Twin Peaks gelding that I competed with in the Classic. And at this point, I'd only had him since February of that year. He'd only been under saddle roughly 6 months at this point. So I knew doing something like this would be a bit of an ask for him. But knowing Vero so well, I trusted him completely at this point. And I knew that he wasn't one to start to panic if another horse was panicking. And so he wasn't going to feed off any of Frodo's anxiety. He was just going to be a nice, calm presence in the round pen for Frodo. So I knew he would do very well with this job. So I was just taking my time showing Frodo very slowly. Someone sitting on a horse isn't a strange creature. It's literally just that, a person sitting on a horse. And so I really felt like he just didn't understand what was even happening, and that's what scared him so much. And if I could get on and off, if I could lay over Vero's back and really show Frodo that it's just me, the person that he knows, then I felt like he would finally understand he had nothing to be afraid of. I was dealing with some wind-related filming difficulties on this day, but the boys didn't mind having some time to hang out together. They were going to have to get to know each other pretty well because they were going to be travel buddies. This made me laugh because I was acting like I was doing a first sit on Vero when Vero wasn't really the horse I was training, it was Frodo. And I was just taking things really, really slow because I didn't want to freak Frodo out too much and give him a bad experience. And I kept coming over to let him meet Vero again, and I really just wanted to show him that it's not a big deal. Now I'm basically acting like I'm on the ground trying to get the first touch on a Mustang that's never been touched before. We're basically back at day one.
Yeah, my presence sitting here on Vero is pressure enough, so I don't have to try to move him. It's alright. You'll notice I'm mostly looking out him out of the corner of my eye. Because even just, now if he wants to approach Vero, I'm going to say, hey, don't approach his hind end. Cautious. And slow. Okay? And to make sure he's not approaching thinking he needs to push Vero. You're okay. You're okay. Alright. We're just in here. Not source of pressure or energy. I don't want him to come up behind Vero. I don't want him to approach Vero too fast. I don't want him to think he needs to challenge Vero. You're okay. Good. That's good. Okay, we're gonna walk away. Good.
I had to move the camera.
Worried about approaching Vero head on. That's
I think
okay.
my phone overheated.
We just do our little dance.
So now I had kind of gotten him locked on to Vero enough that we could do, some circles together where he was kind of following us a little bit, which was my goal. And then I stopped and waited to see if he would come up and touch noses with Vero. And he didn't offer it to me that time, so I just started moving around again. Again, it was just like I was trying to get a first touch.
Alright. Good. That's good. Hey. You say hi? Ooh. Good. You're not going to feel safe in your environment until you feel safe with us riding horses. Unfortunately, your home is right by the arena. Okay. Alright. Let's go. Just stay below. Good boy. Good deal. Vero, let's go.
Finally, I got Frodo confident enough about approaching us that he allowed me to turn and close the gap, and he was able to touch Pharaoh's nose. My phone finally gave out right about here, but this was really good progress for Frodo, and I quit shortly after that. I finally felt like I was on the right track to help him to feel better and to feel safer, and I knew that this was the right next step in his training journey. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. In the next video, I'm actually going to end up ponying Frodo off of Vero, which was very exciting, so make sure to stay tuned for that one, and leave a comment if you enjoyed the video.